Hey guys, welcome back to Learning Curve Tech, where I learn tech with you. If you're new to this channel, why don't you go ahead, head down below, subscribe, and hit the bell to get new creative tech videos every week. So without further ado, let's jump into this video. So, a couple days ago, I was bored, and I decided to make a 9-second short stop-motion car commercial. So, to get started, why don't we go back to the beginning of the animation, and I'll play it. So now you may have noticed that it was supposed to be a very action-packed race type of car commercial. Now, of course, if you're animating or if you're making a car commercial for a luxury car or an SUV, perhaps you want to do maybe on a road, a city boulevard, or if you're doing an SUV, maybe you're going to want to do it on a mountain road or off-road even. Let's go through this frame by frame. So, first of all, you notice it's on carpet. Like I said, I was bored. I was just doing this for fun. But, of course, you could always make a whole set and everything. This just gives you an example of the movement of the car. So, I started off with a side angle. Now, once I was done, I had ideas for different angles I could have used for the first shot, which would have been better. But this is how it started off, because I did this all on the fly. So for the first 7 frames, the car doesn't move. This gives it a good, nice hold before it starts, all the action happens and it starts moving and going crazy. And then I start off the acceleration. So the first movement was very small. You can see it's very small. Next movement was a little bit bigger. And you can tell that it's kind of going up and down, so that's because it is on a carpet. And if you wanted to make it look better, you could always do it on cardboard that you painted, or make some sort of set that you do this on. Next frame, it's a little bit further, and yeah, you can still tell it's kind of wobbling. And here we go, it starts to smooth out, it starts going faster. And I had it speed up pretty quickly, because now you can tell all these gaps are getting bigger and bigger, like I mentioned in the last video, which is down in the description or the link above. And now the car is pulling all the way out, turning away, and disappearing. And you'll notice it looks a little weird because the car kind of just like goes that way all of a sudden, it turns left. And that's because I had this phone on a little grip, and the car had to drive around the grip. So behind the scenes, that explains why it did that. And this next shot, I really love this shot. So what I did for this, you'll notice that it looks like the background is moving, and that's because I am actually taking the phone with the car, and every time I move the car, so I move the car the same amount, I moved the car, and then I used the onion skin to discern between the 2 frames and get the wheel lined up almost exactly for each frame. So it's almost exactly lined up, and the car's coming along, so you notice that this perspective starts to change a little bit, and the background zooming along. And then all of a sudden we start at frame 33 or 32. You notice that we start to rotate to the back of the car. And this is a shot that you typically see on a lot of car commercials where they're kind of zooming around the car. It's a little difficult to do in animation, but all you have to remember is that when you're doing this, just move your phone or your camera and keep the car at the same movements. And that's why onion skin is very helpful for animation. Now the camera starts falling behind and the car zooms ahead, and then that shot ends. And then this shot, the car comes up and it's out of focus because it's focused on the carpet in the front, and the car reaches the camera, and when the second the car reaches the bottom of the frame, camera tilts down, tries to follow the car, but then the car keeps going too fast, so then it turns into kind of a blurry action right there, and then that blur and that tilt down, which is only a couple frames, helps transition between these two frames. So when you're playing it back, you almost don't even notice that there's a cut between two different angles there. Next angle, I'm pulling up from the carpet, so you notice it's blurred, and all of a sudden the car's coming around here, and car comes in, and meanwhile I'm still animating the car, but I also have to remember that I'm moving the camera. And this can be very tricky to do, but again, onion skin really does help. So, go through this, the camera gets closer to the car, and it starts getting a little blurry because I wanted the camera to go almost right over the car, and there's a little glint in the windshield, which really, I think, helped transition between this frame, which you can see the glint, and then it goes blurry, and then it comes down from the roof. There's a window, and it's really blurry and bright light there. And then it comes down, oh, and there's the car, and it pulls in, and then this is a weird shot. It tilts up, but at the same time the camera comes down physically. So the camera's tracking the car until it comes level with the car. And then the car, meanwhile, I'm animating the car, and I slow the car down, and then right there you notice it focused and then it unfocused. So if you want to spend more time, of course, you can get better results. For the next shot, I wanted to have like a basic dolly shot, is what you would call it, where the camera moves in towards the object, which in this case is the car. And when you come to the final spot where the car is and where the camera is, it's right on focus, and that's how the animation ends. And of course, if you spend more time on the sets, you spend more time on your animation, it's going to be a lot better. And of course, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And then check out one of these two videos. You can also subscribe right in the middle. That's all for today, guys, and I'll see you next time on Learning Curve Tech.